Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We are now in the second parasha of the Bamidbar HaSefer, the book of Numbers. It's called Naso, and this is a special portion because basically it's about continue the idea of counting the people of Israel and to give an order to Israel. We saw in the first portion about how he ordered the people. First of all, he makes a census, and then after the census, he does two censuses. One for the regular people of Israel, when I call it regular people of Israel, are the 12 tribes that are going to participate in the army. And then there is a special tribe, the tribe of Levi. And the tribe of Levi, that's how ended this first parasha. We only is doing the census of the first group of the tribe of Levi, the Kohatites, Kohat, and this is the where Moshe and Aaron and Miriam are descended from, the Kohatites. And this is the special tribe that at the end also are going to give you a subgroup or a main group that's called the Kohanim, but all the descendants of Aaron. What I would like to bring you from the first parasha is about that our God counted each one of us. Each one of us are important. And we play a very important role. And this is something that we need to remind ourselves. Each one of us is important. And we want it or not, our mere presence or no presence affects the whole community. Sometimes people do not realize that when you do not come to the community, you affect the community. Your not coming affects the positive way, the others in the negative way. And sometimes we do not realize because one of the greatest problems that all of us we have is that we are very self-centered. And we need to get out of ourselves. I mentioned to you last week about the two different philosophies in which the world right now has been revealed. One is the holistic one, that is the scriptures, and the other is the individualistic, the atomic way, I call it, the Aristotelian mentality. The world exists for the sake of me. That is the world that we live today. We're so self-centered, we are so egotistical. And this is the reason there are so many things that are happening. And we have lost completely the idea about community. There are a lot of people who believe that they are better off to be by themselves than to be in community. Why? Because when you are in community, you want it or not, you are going to scratch somebody else, and then and this scratching sometimes is good. Why? Because help you to grow. Do you know, I have been teaching you about the mentality of the Torah. It's about circular, or it's about holistic. Sometimes they call it spheric, but I call it ellipsoid. The ellipsoid that goes around and around and around, but goes never in the same level. You go up and up, or you can go back, but always in the circle. And this is the reason why you constantly look like deja vu. They say, oh, I used to live this before. No, it's that you are growing and you are experiencing something in a higher level, but you have already gone through that in a lower level. That is the way that we grow up. That's the way that we increase. Then the Creator made the mahanet, the camp, and the camp is orderly, and they are. Our sayings are draw, and those who draw, they draw squares, a center square, a square outside, and by squares. I like to paint it as circles because there is always a continuity. Squares are too limited. The circle is because all of us, we are integrated. And the central, in the mentality, in the revelation of the Creator, is that the center is himself. Totally opposite to the other philosophies, who the center is us, myself. I am the center of the world. Here the Torah teaches you just the opposite. The center is not us. The center is him. And all of us, we go around him. We have the Ohel Moed, where he presents himself, where he reveals himself, where he talks. Then in the center, after, in this parasha, we are going to see the other three groups of the Leviim. The first one was Kohat, and then we are going to see Gershon, and then we are going to see Merari. And of course, the next one is going to be the Kohanim, or the Aaron tribe. And they are put according to size, east, west, south, and north. And this is how the camps is. The same way is done externally with the 12 tribes. And in each side, 3 tribes, by one tribe leader, and the other tribes, they are together to these other tribes. We have concentric circles, or squares, if you want to look in that way. But there is an order. And what happens when you go against the order? I said to you last week that you produce confusion to the least, and believe me or not, sometimes destruction. Any time that you go against the order, you are going to always do something wrong. When the Creator said to you, this is the way that you need to do, this is the way that you need to live, He's giving you an order. When you become a rebel without cause, and you say, no, I'm going to prove myself that I can do whatever I want to do. Yes, you can do, because He has given to you free will. But free will has a long stream of possibilities. From one side, free will means to be obedient. From the other side, free will means you can be totally disobedient. See, why? Because it's us who we decided what to do. Not the Creator, us. We are so accustomed to blame somebody else for our own problems. What I call it passing the buck. Always we blame others for our own circumstances, for our own situations. And it's time that we become more serious and we remember this. My Creator, blessed be His name, the Creator of the universe, the Creator of the world. He has given us conscience. He has given us understanding. He has given us the free will to act. And the right acting means to be responsible. And being responsible doesn't mean only to do everything right. Being responsible also means to accept situations when we have done wrong. To admit our faults. And these are making us to grow. Well, you have now, interestingly enough, each group of the divisions of the Leviim, the Creator is going to give it to them a role in reference to the Ohel Moed. The Kohatites, they are going to be in charge of all the sacred things inside the temple, inside the Ohel Moed. The Gershonites, they are going to be they're going to be in charge of all the sockets and the what do you call it, the pillars, poles, and the Merarith are going to be in charge of all the what do we call it, the coverings, of the temple. Each one had their own position. But even the priests, the Aaron, Itamar, and Eleazar, and the children of Aaron, and Aaron himself, they're going to be the supervisors. And they are always going to be careful that they do not touch what they don't need to touch. And they are going to be the protectors of their own relatives because of sacredness of the holiness of the Ohel Moed. There is an order. There need to be done in certain. If you mess the order, you're going to suffer consequences. We had, for example, in the case of David HaMelech, King David. When he sent his friend to take the ark, and he died. And then until he doesn't bring the Leviim, who are the ones that they need to transport the ark, they couldn't do it. And finally they did it. And he needed to acknowledge his wrongdoing. One thing that I like about King David is that he was not perfect, as some people want to make it, but he has his heart toward the Creator. And when he did something wrong, and he was making known that he did something wrong, he immediately would acknowledge and confess it, and he do the teshuvah. This is a wonderful teachings that we can get from the Scripture. Then we have an order. I mentioned to you in my last blog about this illustration, about the jigsaw puzzle. When you have a picture that you are made by little pieces, how do you call it? A mosaic, no? And the mosaic, I mentioned to you that it's beautiful when you see it from distance. When you are very close to the mosaic, you will start seeing the ruptures and the divisions and the pieces. No, and sometimes it doesn't look too good. But when you look from far away, it's a beautiful mosaic, it's a beautiful picture. Now, what happens if you get a piece of them and change it to another place? You left a hole. And doesn't matter how far you are, you're going to see the hole. I don't know how many of you, especially men, how you had the opportunity. I don't have that, but some of you had, when you shave, and you in the morning you shave and boom, you get a little cut, and you put something here. And the rest of the day, you are so aware that you had a cut, even though nobody sees the cut. Or you ladies, maybe you wake up that one morning and you had a little pimple in your nose, and that pimple in your nose is going to be the rest of your day, and doesn't matter, nobody sees you. But you are going to show everybody because you are so aware of it. Then you bring attention to yourself. Well, this is the problem when somebody is out of place. You have a jigsaw puzzle. And a jigsaw puzzle, every piece has a place. There are people that they don't have too much patience to fill it out the jigsaw puzzle, and then what they do, they press it against it, and instead to put the piece in the place, they make a hole, a worse hole, and now even if you find the right piece, you will never fill it up. This is what the Creator is trying to teach us. Each one of us has a place. What is very important as a jigsaw puzzle is to find our place. And sometimes it can take us all our life. But blessed is the one that finds his place as soon as possible. Sometimes I am admired. When I used to be professor in the university, I used to have students in my classes that will come to me and ask me, Professor, could you lead me, can you tell me what area I can be better? And I will make an analysis of the student and will try to advise him, but I'm always looking about what is that the person like to do. And I always say to him or to her, What is the thing that motivates you? What is the thing that calls your attention? What is the thing that you enjoy to do? And you will be surprised that making yourself simple questions, you start to find the answers. The problem is when we are in something that we dislike it and we don't want to do it. And we do it only because we don't have any other choice, or sometimes we think that we don't have any choice. I always say to people, if you feel that you are in the wrong place, don't jump and go someplace else. No. I say, be in what you are doing, but start developing or looking what you like to do. And you're going to see that you're going to find it. And you're going to do what you really want to do. You know, it's a process. Always is a process. It's trying to find. Well, our Creator gives us a lot of insights in each one of us to follow Him. That is the first part. The second part, suddenly, in chapter 5, change this message. It comes, look like that goes back to the pure and impure, about the cleanliness of the camp, you know, and how strict they are. Well, the whole picture, I always like to see it as, instead to be punctiliar, as many are, I like to see it as a mosaic. I always like to take a step back. Don't get too deep in the picture that you lose the sense of what the picture is all about. Take a step and look and observe. And ask yourself this question: what the Creator is trying to tell me? What the Creator is trying to give me? What direction is trying to bring to me to help me to understand better? Well, and here is a very important idea. In the presence of God, we need to keep our best behavior, our best position, our best ways to do it. You know, indirectly, sometimes they take certain things in a practical way. You know, for example, on Shabbat when you come to the synagogue, you know, you try to come at least presentable, no? You don't need to come with your best clothes in the world. That's not what the Creator is asking you, but you need to come decent, presentable. No, that is what is to be presentable, you know, because you are going to be in the presence of our Creator. And it's a special moment that all community is rendering homage to Him. But also, it's telling us that we need to be proper, okay? And being proper means that to do the things accordingly, to the right way. No, everything is to do the things in the right way. When we do shortcuts, when we do things only to try to do and to get rid of the situation, at the end, we are going to end it in the wrong place. Everything that's good takes time. Everything that you need to do right takes time. Well, take your time. Do it and do it right. You know? Any person who does it only for doing something is not right. And this, what I tell you, to keep the camp clean is because we are giving reverence to Him, to the Creator, and that we are trying to do our best and to be proper. Immediately after that, there's going to come something that is very interesting. The sotah. You know? From 5:11 to 31, there is a portion that is talking about the jealousy husband, or the wayward wife, they call it too, or the supposedly the evil wife. No? And to me, it's very sad the way that has been interpreted, especially by some sages. To me, it's the wrong way. If you remember when we were talking about Tasriah in Vayikra, the giving birth, you remember when I talked about why the separation of the woman, you know? and why the tahor and tamei, the clean and unclean. And I mentioned to you that the Torah always tries to protect the one that is weaker in the eyes of others. You know, the Torah teaches that we need to take care of the orphan, the widow, and the immigrant or the foreigner. Why? Because they are the most weak people that we can find, the most, they need more help than anybody else, and they need our protection. The woman in that society of 3,000, 4,000 years ago was in a big difference of opportunities with men. Women basically were very limited in what they could do and they couldn't do. The value of the woman at that time was very low. And the value of the woman was like the value of the cattle, and sometimes even lower. You know, you can buy it, sell it, you can transfer, you can do whatever you wanted to do with a woman. No? And the Torah is bringing the woman to the same level of men. That is what the Torah is doing. Sometimes people today, especially in women's life, do not realize what the Torah has done for them. You know? But there is a saying they say. One say is being equal. Another saying is to be better than others, or being the same. You know? Unity is very different from uniformity. Equality is very different to be that everybody is the same. No? Each one is different. And this is why the Torah teaches about order. No? He doesn't give, sometimes we do not understand, for example, why he chose 12 tribes and only one tribe is to serve him in the Mishkan. The other goes to the war, and these the Leviim don't go to war. They are only to serve in the Ohel Moed, in the temple too, in the Mishkan. And the Creator is going to give you answers through the things that He teaches. For example, here with the woman, as mentioned to you in the book of Tashriah, the problem was not about the menstrual time of the woman, as is looked upon very disgusting and something evil or ugly or terrible, but it was to impose on men a totally different attitude. You need to respect the woman at that time. And the only way that men at that time could understand respect was in the sense of the Creator is telling them that if you touch a woman in that situation, you cannot participate in the temple. You know, that created to them a little bit of fear. And they didn't want to be excluded. And because they didn't want to be excluded, they forcibly respected the woman. That is the time when a woman gives birth. You know, you know already the changes in the hormonal system in her body and all the things that she goes. Only women can tell you exactly what they're going through. We as men will never be able to understand that. And this is a period of time that is very special for her and the baby that they have, and they need to be on their own. They need to be taken care and not to be bothered. Can you imagine that a man is there bothering all the time? You know, or she kill him or he kill her. But that's the problem. They need to be a distance. And God used these special admonitions to men in order to keep the woman safe. Well, here in the Sotah, we have almost the same idea. The idea is what happened at that time. You know, if you go to the old civilization code, especially the one that we have very clear is the Hammurabi code, you are going to see what happens if the man is jealous about the woman, what they can do. First of all, at that time, by the way, because the woman didn't have any value as a human beings, okay? The man could kill it, could destroy it, could burn it alive, could cut her head or whatever. And by the way, still today, there are societies today. There are societies that are doing that. You know, they put a woman, they stone to death. You know, what the thing that they are doing? Because they suspect that the woman has been unfaithful. Then what the Creator is doing here? He needs to protect the woman, but he needs to protect the woman in such a way that the man understand. Men. This is for men, not for the woman. That it's to protect the woman, but it is to make men to think a little bit at that time. You see? We need to think 3,000, 4,000 years ago as the Flintstones, okay? That mentality, okay? Then they're going to elevate, they need to be taught. And then we say, okay, you feel jealousy. And here, he's going to go to the Creator. Interestingly enough, here says that he's going to prepare, he's going to give offerings, korbanot, for jealousy, a type of asham. You know, they're going to they're going to give it. The husband needs to go to the temple, and they need to go to the priest. Now, the woman needs to accept that she is going with him. You know, the men say, I think you are doing hanky-panky with somebody else. And the scripture before is very clear. You have two witnesses, okay? There is no taking to the temple or anything like that. You go, they take you, and you are killed. You know, there's no any problem in that. But they are killed, male and female. With the time, this changed. The one that was killed was the female. At the time of Yeshua, when you had this parable or this teaching about the woman that was unfaithful or she was doing certain things, and he said, the first one that doesn't have any sin throw the first stone, and all the men fled away, you know. Maybe they already had something with the woman, and then they knew that according to halakha, according to the Torah, you know, not only the woman needs to be stoned to death, it's the man that has been with the woman. But at this time, only the woman. Always is only the woman. You know, we are in this situation, always blaming the woman. Here the man is jealous. First of all, according to our saying, they say that the man needed to be totally pure. Can you imagine a pure man? And he needed to go to the priest and say, I am doubting about my wife, and that my wife is being unfaithful to me. Then the priest is going to make a concoction. A concoction is little dust. And this word dust is very interesting, you know. A little bit of dust, put it in water, no, from the temple, and then he was going to write the curses in a paper, you know, and writing the curses also supposedly was going to write the name of the Creator, the tetragrammaton. And then he was going to put it inside the water, the dust of the water, and the name was going to disappear, erased in that water. Then the Creator's name was there, you know, the shame. And then he will say this, have you been unfaithful to your husband? And she would say, no, but nobody believes her way. It's a woman. How are you going to believe a woman? You know? Then you drink this water. If, and there are 4 if, very interesting in this portion. if you has been unfaithful, you are going to blow up. Your ties are going to increase. They're going to be saggy. For a woman, a saggy ties is no a blessing, you know. And, you know, and you will never be fertile. You won't have children. You know what's the worst curse that could be? But if you really are not unfaithful, not only you are going to be blessed, you are going to be fruitful, you are going to be wonderful and pretty and everything else. You know, everything is going to be okay. Then the woman will drink it. And the husband, very expectantly, is looking. You know, looking. She's going to blow. She's going to blow. You know, and nothing happened. And she started smiling. And then the husband smiled with her and said, I'm sorry, and they go back home. Because according to our sages, our God is the God of peace. And the most important thing and the structure of the growing of the community of Israel starts with husband and wife, and then with the community families, and goes increase and goes up. And God is a God of shalom, God of peace. And we're going to see that after that we have the Nasir and we have the Kohanim blessing. Now what is here the very special teaching? You know, in Bereshit 27, Abraham Avinu say, I am only dust and ashes. And our rabbis has brought together this idea. Pretty soon we are going to see the also about the red heifer, you know, and the burning of the red heifer and the ashes that put in the water, and they are going to clean you against the touching of dead bodies. And you have similar ideas. And our rabbis has talking about that when Abraham Avinu said, I am only dust and ashes. He's acknowledging how he has been made, and he acknowledges that he's no better than anybody else, and he shows a great modesty. No? And it's through his sehut, through his merit, that God brings to people peace and justice among them. And these elements that are mixed is in order to give it to the person who is taking a message. Everything has a picture, like I said to you. You remember the mosaic, the picture, the language, and everything else. The scripture talks through pictures. And this water that is very important, what is the meaning? The dust from the temple, you know? How was made Adam? From the dust, no? And God blew on him, on that dust figure, and gave it life. No, in the scripture we are going to have this idea of dust made men, and the Spirit of God is in us. Later on, in 2:7, in Bereshit 2:7, we have that idea that we are made of dust. Then in 3:19, after Adam committed this sin, disobedience, and he is rejected and taken out of the Garden of Eden, the Creator said, you are going to eat with the sweat of your brow, and you are going to be, you were made of dust, and you return to dust. No? And in the Ecclesiastes, they say, the dust goes down to the earth, and the Spirit of God goes to him. It's very interesting, those ideas. And this idea of dust is over and over, the dust from the temple, from the Mishkan. because that does means that our eternal God is present with us. He is the creator of everything, and He is creator of life. Given those ideas, we have the ashes and we have the dust. In the red heifer, we have the ashes. And all this combination is to give us an idea about returning to our basic state and then renewing ourselves, becoming again. Always the Creator is working to give us life and life in abundance. And He wants among ourselves to have peace. I was talking to you about the Hammurabi Codes, for example, what they say is a woman is unfaithful, you can cut it there in pieces and do whatever. But there is one very interesting part of the Hammurabi. They say, well, very similar to the Torah, in the sense they need to, let's see that she's telling you the truth. And how we are going to know? We are going to make her to cross a river, swim in the river, a very strong river, and this river is full of crocodiles. If she crosses the river and the crocodile don't kill her or the current doesn't kill her, she's innocent. You see? Now, look at the difference between the Hammurabi Code and the Torah. And this is how you are going to know that the Torah is putting the woman in a higher place. Next, after the woman comes the Nasir. And our sages say, what the Nasir has to do with all these things, we are counting the people, we are giving an order, and now comes the cleaning of the camp, and then the woman, the sotah, and then now the Nasir. The word Nasir has a double meaning. From one, it could be considered as crown, and the other as separate. Now, this is a very interesting idea. Our sages tell us that our Creator realized that the people of Israel were going to be in certain way jealous of the Leviim and Kohanim, because they were put in a very special position in comparison to the rest. He knew that we are humans and we have a problem with jealousy. And we are going to see later, pretty soon, the situation with Korach and the situation with Datan and Abiram, the Reubenites and the Kohathites. No? Because they were not given the place that they supposedly they thought the firstborn, or that we are from the same tribe and we are older and we are better, whatever. Why do you prefer them over us? Well, He gave us the Nazarite, and this is the idea, and it's very interesting. The idea is in this way. Our sages tell us that because our Creator realized that we as human beings, we are going to be a little bit jealous, He opened up the opportunity to any human being, any Israelite, could be as equal as the Hagadol Kohen. And the restriction of the Hagadol Kohen applies to the Nazarite, okay, when he had the vow to Nazarite. The Nasir, also, by the way, could be a woman too. This is interesting. Men and women. He is not only for men. And this calls your attention sometimes because they say there are no women priests. No, but here is the idea that a regular Israelite could have the function, the same position of holiness than a Hagadol Kohen. The difference is this. The Hagadol Kohen, the only time that he couldn't drink wine was when he was going to perform as the Hagadol Kohen. But the rest of the time, they couldn't drink. But the Nasir, all the time of his vow, he couldn't. And he couldn't cut his hair. Why? Because his hair was going to be the crown that will make it the difference with everybody else. Then this is a beautiful picture about that all of us, we can be whatever we need to be, and there are possibilities. But when God gives you, when our Creator gives you something in order, it's better that you follow the order. When you get out of the order, you create chaos. And then, to finish this chapter 6, the beautiful Birkat Kohanim, the blessing of the priest to all the people of Israel. A beautiful composition. They call it 357. The first sentence is 3 words, the second is 5, and the last one is 7. 357 is a beautiful number, and in Gematria you can see many meanings. But at the end with Shalom. And the Shalom needs to be something beyond what you understand about peace. The word Shalom comes from the word Shalem, Shalom, that when I mean completion, completeness. Shalom is not the absence of anything else, but is the completeness in the time, even when you have moments of difficulties, you are secure. They say that Van Gogh, this great painter, had a painting, a beautiful painting, and he painted a tree in the middle of a storm, the tree moving, and in the middle, a little bird, in the middle of the storm, singing. This is an idea that in the middle of a storm, you can have peace. And this is the idea of the peace that our Creator is bringing to us. And finally, the last chapter, chapter 7, what is the largest chapter, is about that the 12 tribes go to the inauguration of the Mishkan, and they are going to bring, each one of them, the same type of offerings. The question is always asked, why you need to repeat the same thing over and over again? The tribe of Judah brought this, and this, and that. Then the tribe of this, and the tribe of this, and the tribe of this. Exactly the same words, 12 tribes. Are we so limited that we cannot see that if we can say the tribe of Judah brought this and the rest of the tribe brought the same thing? Will make it all of us easy to read, and we don't need to waste our time. Here is the answer. It's very simple, but it's very important. Each one of us count. Each one of us are important in the presence of our Creator. You and I, all of us, were very important in His eyes. The question then, again, I'm going to repeat it what I repeated last week. Do you feel that you are counting today, that you are being part of the community of the Creator? You see, each one of us, we have something special. Nobody has come to this world without nothing to give. You will be surprised how much we can give. When people talk about giving, the only thing that it has in mind is money. Are you willing to give yourself to the Creator? To serve Him accordingly? Because that is what He is asking all of us. And how we give according to where we have been placed, in the position that we are. And believe me or no, you are important on his eyes. You are important. You know, I have learned so many things through my teacher, through my Rabbi, Yashuv. He taught so many things, beautiful teachings that we have. And by the way, they are no news, you know? They are from our baggage of the great wisdom in Judaism that we have. Beautiful thoughts and ideas and teachings that brings to us the way to apply them. And that each one of us, we have been chosen for a reason. And you need to be sure, where is your position? What part of all this jigsaw puzzle in this beautiful mosaic you are? Because when you are not there, you leave a vacuum. You leave a hole. That's how important you are. I see here sometimes chairs, empty chairs. And I can imagine in my head who are missing here. And they already, I am asking myself, are they okay? Are they doing fine? You know, this is how we see each other. How much more a creator sees to each one of us. That's the reason that Yeshua said that everybody needs to come to the creator. And he told us that the following the Torah, it is filling our life and fulfilling our call. Are we ready? Are we counting? It's my question from the last week to this week. Shabbat Shalom.